Hey YouTube, Matthew here. I'm going to show you how to replace the screen on my Samsung Galaxy S3. This is the straight talk model of the S3, which would be the same as the Verizon and the PCS Metro S3. There are my lights. You can't see them, but my lights don't light up. The screen was broken due to a drop. The LCD portion busted behind the glass and my screen just went black. So there's 10 screws that hold these white plates on. Make sure not to forget your SD card and the micro SIM if you have one. There in the bottom, kind of near the center, there's a black screw that holds the circuit board in place. On the right is an antenna, little white wire, a ribbon cable for your video, and top left there's a couple of small ribbon cables to pull out. And then your circuit board should be pretty loose. You can wiggle it out. Don't pull too hard. Those ribbon cables catch and you don't want to tug on them too much. So that white wire just sits in a little track. It pulls out fairly easy. My new screen I bought on Amazon. It was $93. I bought the screen, the LCD, the glass, the bezel, all as one unit for $93. Here I'm trying to pull out the front-facing camera. There is a small silver screw holding it in. Don't forget that screw. After you get that screw out, it pops out fairly easy. So the reason that I'm posting this video is there's a lot of people online with the Straight Talk S3 and they had some confusion on which screen to order. If you peel the sticker up that's underneath your battery, it actually has the model number for the Verizon phone, the i535. So they're identical phones, it's just the software inside that's different. In the top right corner is a small circuit board. I believe this is for the cell antenna. I didn't get to show it on the video. Most people use a heat gun. I, however, do not have a heat gun, so I just held it over my toaster for about 30 to 45 seconds to heat up the glue so you can peel everything up. Here you can see I'm peeling up these circuits, the little ribbon cables that are sticky taped to the phone. You see I have a comb in my hand. I did order the toolkit for this job, but I wasn't willing to wait a whole week just for a $2 toolkit that's basically a fancy set of toothpicks. So I improvised. I carved the end of my comb into a wedge, and that helps with peeling things like that ribbon cable. I also later got a toothpick, and that helped out a lot. Here I'm trying to get the volume buttons out. They're on a very small circuit board, and it was pretty stubborn because it was such a tight area. I can't stress it enough that if you're to do a project like this, really take your time and don't rush. Be gentle. I know with the video sped up it really looks like I'm reefing on this phone, but really just be gentle and things will come out. Here I got a pair of tweezers. It really helped with getting this this little circuit board out, and here in a second I'll show you how small it is. It has 2 micro buttons on it. I apologize for the bad video. This is my first YouTube video, so just bear with me. So throughout the video, I bounce back and forth between the toaster and the table, trying to keep that glue hot. Down in the right lower corner is a little motor, and I'm pretty sure it's your vibrator, and it's connected to a very small circuit board. The motor, there I go to the toaster. The motor is really encased in there, and it's tough to get out. At one point, I'll show you, there's a small slot to stick a screwdriver in. The motor has a hard casing, so I don't have a problem with prying on the motor, but make sure not to tug on the wires. Well, here it is right here. This is where I stick in the precision screwdriver, and it's about the only way to get that motor out. Just be careful. I'll give you a visual on the very small circuit board attached to it. It has a couple of contact points. Make sure to keep that intact while you're pulling it out. So last but not least, this circuit board gave me a little bit of troubles. I really don't recommend prying on circuit boards with metal screwdrivers. I did a couple of times in this video, but I was very careful. If you do, don't slip, otherwise you're bound to mess something up. Back to the toaster. I don't think I was getting it warm enough with the toaster. I definitely used my fingers as an indicator, and if my fingers got hot, then I pulled the phone away from the heat. This is one great thing here about using homemade tools, is you can modify them as much as you want, and you're not out much other than, you know, a comb or whatever you're using. I did end up rounding the comb back so it wouldn't, you know, it wasn't sticking anybody's fingers or anything. It was comfortable to use. Once you start putting things onto the new screen, the glue will hold it on if you give it a little push. But once you get everything in there, put it back over the heat. It will melt that glue a little bit, and then press it again just so that it really stays firm. Here I'm putting in the small circuit ribbon. There are small alignment pins and little holes in that wire that will assist in lining it up. Make sure you line up those little holes with those pins. I did not my first try, so I peeled it back up. If those holes are not aligned with the pins, your ribbon cable on the end may not line up with the circuit board, and you'll have troubles plugging it in. So that little white wire antenna, it just fits into a small track. Once you get your volume buttons in there, if you press on the button and it clicks like it's supposed to, it's lined up, and then it's just a matter of pressing the glue to the plastic. And I think I mentioned it before, so sorry if I'm redundant. For all you straight talk users, on the CDMA Verizon towers, this is a Verizon phone, so any Verizon parts will fit. There I went back to the toaster and I'm just giving everything a good press to make sure that that glue sets right. So here I just double check, make sure that I did remove everything and I got everything onto the new screen. Now before you put your circuit board on, there is some tape that you need to remove. I'll show you, I gotta tear the phone back apart, but I'll show you which tape to remove. It's critical that you do not skip that step. I realized it when I was putting my battery back in. You can see that little tab of plastic at the bottom of the battery compartment poking out there. That's one of the plastic pieces that needs to be removed. So when you install the circuit board, make sure to get that black screw where it goes, and then all of your antennas and ribbon cables. Definitely double check to make sure everything's plugged in, because you don't want to get it all together and then your GPS not work or your speaker not work, or however. The speaker will pick up those screws, so definitely double check, make sure there's no screws sitting on the back of that speaker. So again, the 10 screws that hold the back plates in place. When you're tightening these, make sure that they're definitely snug. If they are not, your GPS won't work properly. I learned that the hard way. The Galaxy S3 has an issue with those screws backing out and then the GPS going all haywire. So here I'm pulling the phone back apart after I realized I forgot the step. I'll show you here, right there, and then blue tape. There's gray heatsink paste behind those little pieces of tape. If you do not remove those, your phone will overheat and then cause a lot more problems. This is another extra step that I learned owning my phone. If your phone is ever in a slightly humid environment, like in the bathroom during a shower or out in the rain, you know, if you're running from the car to your house or whatever, corrosion will build up on these contact points, and it's just a good idea to keep them clean anytime you have your phone out and apart. Just clean up these contact points. So they're easy to spot. I believe it's 6 of the 10 screws that hold the white back plates on have this metallic area around the screw hole. And you just want to thoroughly clean that up with rubbing alcohol, so then you don't have any issues later. So here we put the circuit board back in. Definitely remember that black screw that holds the circuit board in, and then also remember to make every one of these screws snug when you're putting them in, so then your GPS works properly. Remember your SD card and your micro SIM. Once you get your phone together and powered up, definitely test everything on the phone, your cameras, your GPS, your cell signals, everything. And remember, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll definitely ask any questions if you guys have them.